What's going on, everybody? Teddy Baldassarre from teddybaldassarre.com, and today we're going to be looking at a few big dive watches from Zelos with their Hammerhead 2. So at any point in this video, if you want to learn a little bit more information as we're reviewing this watch, definitely hit the link in the description. I'm a full authorized dealer of Zelos and would love to have your business if you are in the market for this piece. So let's take a closer look at this watch. First, looking at a rundown of the specs here, we have a case size of 44 millimeters, thickness of 17.1 millimeters, lug width of 22 millimeters, lug to lug of 47.4 millimeters, water resistance of 1,000 meters, movement is an automatic Seiko NH35, crystal is sapphire, bezel 120 click, coming in both bronze and ceramic in terms of the insert there. Price $449, and if you use Hammerhead at checkout when purchasing this watch, you can get 2 free NATO straps with your purchase. Now, since their start in 2014, I think Zelos has elevated themselves to be one of the best micro brands out there. And I think part of that comes down to the amount of variety that they're releasing, primarily from more of a sports side of the aisle, but there is still great variety there with just the wearability of their different pieces. You have their Makos and their Swordfishes, as well as their Horizons GMTs that wear pretty small and pretty great on a variety of wrists. And then you also have the larger dive watches that, of course, there's still a market for. And this watch here is certainly going to fall more to that side. Now, just to get this out of the way, this is a big dive watch, and it is a rather chunky piece. However, it wears much better than you would expect and has a pretty different case dimension overall. And throughout this video, I'm going to be showing this watch primarily on Will's wrist. He's a member of the team here and has a larger wrist size that I think will be more appropriate and probably more in alignment in terms of the people that are looking to buy this watch in terms of the wrist size. Now, strapping this watch on with its 44 millimeter case, it's surprisingly pretty compact despite its case size, sharing qualities of that of the Seiko Turtles or SKXs of the world. With the watch's octagonal design, very compact lugs that barely extend out from the case, it manages to achieve an impressive lug-to-lug of just 47.4 millimeters. However, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is a large watch in some aspects, primarily with the thickness of 17.1 millimeters. That is going to wear slimmer on the wrists, but it is a tall watch. I would see this as being a watch that would sit favorably on wrist sizes of, say, 17 centimeters and up if I had to estimate it, but again, all comes down to preference. At the 4 o'clock, the Hammerhead features a protruding screw-down crown that extends out about 4 millimeters from the case, but given its position at the 4, does not really impact the visual dimensions as much as it would if it was at the 3, and nearly eliminates all possibility of it pressing into the wrist when bending the wrist. And as a cool side note, the crown is signed and is fully loomed. On the opposite side of the case at the 9, there is the presence of a helium escape valve on the side of the case and is hidden from view. Take notes, Omega. The cases on these pieces featured here today both come in bronze, a material that really has become quite popular in the previous 5 years, and I think pairs nicely with the looks of a diver. One important note is bronze, of course, is a much different material than stainless steel, so I always like to say this, it is going to age differently and will patina when interacting with different oils of your skin and dealing with the conditions of consistent wear, but I think that all adds to its charm, so just know that it will age differently. However, there are ways of slowing this aging process in the case you might want to maintain the original looks to some degree by using different concoctions of baking soda and lemon water, but I know many people like to just have the case age naturally. I think that's much of the appeal when it comes to bronze watches overall. The case here comes in a mix of brush and sandblasted finishes and features sharp lines on the case to assist in the octagonal shape. The bezel present here is very good in many aspects. It rotates unidirectionally, is 120 click, and is very solid with little to no play at all. The bezel edge is thin in comparison to the rest of the case, but it does have deep notches to assist easily with the rotation. The bezel comes either in bronze or with a ceramic insert and is loomed in the numerals to help with legibility. The rubber strap on this piece is comfortable and has a substantial feel with its thickness and offers a 22 millimeter bronze buckle to match the case, so not any taper on this. And if you do get this watch from my store, teddybaldassarre.com, authorized dealer of Zelos, use promo code HAMMERHEAD at checkout and you can get 2 free NATO straps with your purchase. Transitioning to the crystal, the Hammerhead comes with a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the underside. Through the crystal, we have view of the dial with its sunburst finish with an applied Zelos logo at the 12 and the simple writing of automatic with the depth rating of 1,000 meters at the 6 above the date window. Along the outside of the dial, there's an elevated minute track with applied hour markers extending into that minute track. At the center, the watch features a traditional 3 handset with anything but traditional use of lume, as there are 2 different shades present here on the hour and minute hands, with the inner strip of Superluminova matching the tint of the hour markers, and the secondary tint matching the raised minute track along the dial outskirts. Overall, we are getting exactly what many expect from those familiar with Zelos, superb luminescence that even outshines many of the bigger players. Flipping over the watch, we have a closed screw-down case back with an engraved display of Hammerhead sharks, seems pretty fitting, and is protecting the automatic Seiko NH35 within. This workhorse of a movement outside of the Sellita SW200 and the ETA 2824 is perhaps the most popular movement within microbrand watches out there, and that is for good reason, as it is really a great reliable movement, offers hand winding and hacking, so stopping the seconds when pulling out the crown to the farthest position, and are easy to work with for a watchmaker or for yourself if you want to do some regulation. This movement operates at 21,600 vibrations per hour, 3 Hertz, has hacking and hand winding like mentioned, power reserve 38 hours, and has the accuracy of out of the box -20 to +40 seconds a day, but these are all regulated by Zelos to highly outperform the spec. So as you guys probably know, I am more of a small-wristed gentleman, so I am not going after big, large dive watches. So this is probably not a watch that personally would be for me, but I know there's such a market for it. And one thing that I think is so attractive about Zelos is the fact that they're able to appeal to this part of the market while offering watches like their Horizons GMT2 or their Mako or their Swordfish, which I think more are mass market appeal, but this Hammerhead is kind of a unique fitting watch. You're getting a nice spec internally, and is a really awesome way to get into this bronze watch world that I think this is a very intriguing offer for sub $500. And I could see being right up the alley of those that do like those larger dive watches. So guys, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Also, if you are interested in this watch, learning a little bit more, and maybe you want to purchase this watch, hit the link in the description, head to teddybaldassarre.com. Would love to have your business. So guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.